So, we are again in our experimental apiary. Now, we will check the condition of our families, which we use for tests. 2 of them are first families. They must be queenless, or have not fertilized queens. Another 2 small families are offshoots from the 2 first. They became new home for fertilized queens from the first 2 families, but unfortunately, we have lost 1 queen after previous test. It was our mistake. Now, 1 of them must have only new queen cells. Immediately after control with the use of Apivox Auditor, we will check the state of the families personally, to confirm data received using our device. Okay, we are starting our checkups. First family 1 tested using general state control mode, shows a good working state, a certain amount of excitement and some passive bees. Usually it means that there is not fertilized queen in the family or there are queen cells. When we opened the hive, we found many capped queen cells. We do not find any open cell, so the family cannot have not fertilized queen. The second family, when tested using general state control mode, shows not bad working state, but less than we expected. There is excitement in the family and passive bees, and a slight feeling of queenless. It was unexpected for us, because we believed that the family should already have a queen. When we opened the hive we found a lot of closed queen cells and, what is the most important, open cell. This means that in the family must be not fertilized queen, but the state of the bees was not very clear. They crawled in the entrance of the hive and were excited. Diagnostics, using continuous monitoring mode, shows the presence of a strong signal of feeling queenless. It is strange. We are continuing our inspection. Offshoot, which lost the queen, gives a predictable diagnosis. A little bit of work, excitement, passive bees, very weak signal of queenless. Inspection showed in the hive opened and closed queen cells. All these were expected. Second offshoot with fetal queen also gives the expected result. Despite the very small amount of bees, the signal of working state was high. There was almost no excitement, and no passive bees. This is a good example of the approval that for our diagnosis is not important family size. All signals are relative and talk about the proportion between activities in the hive. The proportion of 1 to 10 or 100 to 1000 is the same for us, and means that 10% of the bees occupied with a certain kind of work. Therefore, the column height in the chart and diagnosis in general state control mode of the families, with different number of bees will be the same. Because, the same is not the number of bees in the hive, but the same is the state of the family. So now we are going to begin the procedure of deleting the queen from the family, to test the modes of our device, but suddenly, we noticed the reason for the strangeness of our second family and the cause of her queenless, and 5 minutes later we have got a little swarm in our box for swarms, which we did not see on the branch among green leaves. Apparently, the swarm came out with not fertilized queen. Well, we have the addition on our apiary. Happy birthday! We are going to put them to a new hive so that they will not interfere with their noise. When we will start our work with other families, we put a ramp to the new hive and the bees, with the help of brush, run to the entrance of the hive. Oh, they are running so fast to their new home. Perfect. Well, let us return to our experiment. The queen is found and placed in the box. The box returned to the hive until the bees have calmed down. After that we quickly and without disturbing the bees, have taken the box with the queen and the few bees out of the hive. We start the process of control of the signals emitted by the bees. As always, the process begins slowly. It takes some time until the bees will feel queenless well enough. Of course, a small amount of bees in the small offshoot will feel it faster than the big family, which can, sometimes, feel the absence of the queen only after 3 or 4 hours. Arrow indicators gradually moved into the red zone. The chart in the second window of readiness control mode also moves in the direction of 0, and the red zone. Bees feel queenless strong enough. The sense of queenless has already lasted about half an hour. It is high time to return the queen. The queen is already returned. We started control of reception using all tools of acceptance control mode. Arrow indicators do not come out of the red zone, the chart below 0 in the red zone. The bees continue to feel queenless. Excitement do not subside. Waiting until our signals reach the desired diapasons, we check the other families, using general condition monitoring mode. We return to our family in which we deleted the queen. Arrow indicators continue to remain in the red zone. Chart continues to be red and not even going to approach 0. The queen is not accepted yet. The trend is quite strong. And here we are remembered about the family from which the swarm went away. We looked again at the data of its state. Signal of feeling queenless still very strong, and we decided to give the family this queen, which we took from this family 2 weeks ago and passed on from family to family, making our experiments. The fact that she is still alive is striking, because she suffered from taking out of 4 families and placement into new families. So, we begin our new experiment. The question was, will the family accept fetal queen today, if yesterday it let the swarm go away? We removed the nurse bees, and placed the cage with the queen into the hive and began control. It is amazing, excitation subsides. Arrows of our indicators moves to the green zone, meaning queen reception. Excitation decreases, and the signals in the zone, meaning acceptance, conversely increase. In monitoring mode, it is clearly seen that there are practically no signals in the diapason of excitation. Bees, although excited, but begin to do their everyday work. The peaks are shifted to the range between 300 to 400 Hz. The diagram in the third window of the mode is white. This means that the value of reception signals bigger than that of excitation and rejection of the new queen signals. Arrow indicators in the first window of the mode are in green zone. This tells us that the feeling of queenless and excitement less than the desire to work. Arrow indicators of the second window of the mode confirms that the force of reception signals bigger than the force of signals of non-reception of a new queen. Now, with high probability, we can talk about strong tendency to accept new queen. The experiment gave us just 3 outcomes. The first, general state control mode, adequately shows the state of the families of bees, and not only concerning working state, but swarming state, and the state when bees family have queen cells. It was perfectly clear today, when we made diagnosis of 3 families, which do not have queens, and we saw deep contrast between this diagnosis, and diagnosis of the family which have fertilized queen. The second, general state monitoring mode allows you to make very important observations and conclusions. For example, the control of swarming shows swarmic trend in the period when bees are only going to make swarming queen cells. Then, swarming mood subsides, the bees return to work. Remains only light excitement. In the family starts accumulation of passive bees for future swarm. This is the second time when our device will show swarming mood of the family when enough passive bees will be accumulated to create a new swarm. In today's situation, the device has helped us to understand the state of the bees. After the departure of a swarm with not fertilized queen, the device showed how strong feeling of queenless arises at this period of family life. And the third? Using our device we were able to see 3 processes. The process of feeling queenless by the bees family, acceptance of new queen and non-acceptance the queen by the bee family, to see all the possible and negative reactions of all indications of our diagnostic device, on arrow indicators and graphics and charts windows. In the last, we hope that our efforts will be useful for beekeepers all over the world, and our device will help everybody to know better and to understand bees. After all, we will give everyone who wants the device, which now do not have even the scientists, portable, convenient, and what is the most important, giving for user real results.